Hi everyone. It is February 17th, about 8:30 p.m. and in the Northeast here in New York, it is 0 degrees. So, any of you who know me know it's a little chilly for my taste. Two things I want to briefly talk to you about tonight. I read an article over the last few days online, and it was discussing the different ways that disabled people are perceived. And I have to be honest, I was just kind of reading through it briefly, not word for word, just kind of scanning it. And then I saw in bold the words inspiration porn. That stopped me. I started from the beginning and I read the entire article. And it was really about two things. The first thing was it's wrong to use disabled people to provoke strong reactions. That was the first item on the list. And the second one was, is it okay to be inspired by disabled people? And is the inspiring tag, that's the word that was used, tag, offensive or encouraging to the individual you're saying it to? Let's start with the inspiration porn because those two words just don't belong together. And if they do, I don't know what you're watching or what you're reading. Um, there's a beautiful girl. Her name is Amy Purdy. She was recently in a Toyota commercial and she is a double amputee. In the commercial, she was dancing, she was snowboarding, she was uh, showing how she gets in shape. She was also telling her story of how she came to be a double amputee. And she was knockout gorgeous. And you also saw in the Toyota commercial, Toyota promotional party or promotional gig that they do, she was standing there with a beautiful dress on that came right above her knee. And then you saw her prosthetic legs and these beautiful shoes, painted toenails, just had herself groomed down to the T. And she was walking the red carpet and looked like she belonged there. And I don't know how old Amy is. I didn't get that from the story. But she's a Paralympian. And in this Toyota commercial, which I watched the entire thing a few times, she was very, very close with her father. And somewhere in Amy's life, she had to, it looked by the picture that she was maybe in her late teens, early 20s, I'm not sure. She had to lose both her legs and her kidneys. Both her legs and her kidneys, or she would die. Her father donated one of his kidneys, and prosthetics were made for her legs. I was so inspired by this girl. Was I inspired because she was disabled? I don't know. It didn't occur to me. I was inspired because she was kicking ass and taking names and living her life and enjoying it and just did things that were incredible for her situation. I'm inspired by single mothers every day. They don't have a physical disability, but I don't know how they deal and cope with being a single mother. It's unbelievable. I have so much respect for them. Total opposite ends of the social spectrum. Um, The second, so is it okay to use disabled people to provoke strong reactions? There was a big no in this article. And what was provoking this strong reaction? Because Amy Purdy happened to be beautiful, or because she was disabled? I don't think anybody held a gun to her head and said, do this ad for Toyota, this commercial for Toyota, and it might have been during the Super Bowl, but don't quote me, or we're going to shoot you. I don't think that was the case. And the second issue, as far as is it okay? Well, excuse me, let me back up a bit. The inspiration porn, that's what she's called, was, it just blew my mind. I'm not even going to mention the name of the person that came up with that phrase. It's not important. But why is that used? Because she's beautiful and inspirational? Because she's disabled and beautiful? Because she's disabled, I found her inspirational and beautiful? What's the issue here? I think people find it okay to be called inspired if they feel they are inspiring. When someone tells me, and this is moving on to the second question, is it wrong to use disabled people? I'm sorry, is it okay to be inspired by disabled people? And is the inspiring tag encouraging or offensive? I'm reading from my notes I took. I just want to get the exact quotes from the article correct. I don't find I've been called inspired before. People have the word tag I don't like, but people have said, Amy, I'm really inspired by you. And part of the article said, are we being condescending for telling disabled people they're inspired simply because they do the things that the able-bodied person does in a day as well? They do the same things. A disabled person has to do the same things an able-bodied person has to do, and they're inspiring for that. I don't think it comes from a person's intentions. I've had people say to me, "Oh, you're so inspiring," with pity just pouring out of them. Why am I inspiring to you? Have you read something I've written that you find inspiring? Have you gotten to know me at all through a sentence or two that we've shared between each other? Uh, I'm not inspiring just because I'm disabled. I could be a total jerk and not have an inspiring bone in my body. But I think it's the way a person feels about themselves, that they feel okay. And I'm a writer. I'm thrilled when someone says a piece I wrote is inspiring. And as far as doing the same things that able-bodied people do every day that disabled people do, should they be called inspiring for that? Well, let me tell you, I've been disabled. I have a C4 spinal cord injury. I'm paralyzed from the shoulders down. I've been disabled and I've done the everything, everyday things that people do disabled, and I've done them able-bodied. And let me tell you something, it's a lot easier doing it able-bodied. The effort it takes sometimes to get up and dressed and ready for the day and taking care of my personal care, to get out the door or don't even get that far in my chair, is exhausting and takes up more time than you could possibly imagine and more energy. So I think it's also the way the person that is saying you're inspiring, how they mean it. I had a doctor at a hospital once, we'll never forget this, and he was asking me some basic questions of what I do as far as my daily living and the level of my injury and what I could move and what I couldn't move. And I was telling him what I can do for myself independently, which isn't much. I can brush my teeth, I can wash my face, I can eat something, feed myself if someone cuts it up and prepares it in front of me, and not much else physically. Drive my wheelchair, and that's about it. And when I told him that, for the level of injury that I have, and that I started off on a respirator, he said, "Good for you. That's really great." And he said it in a way that had not an ounce of uh, a label of offensive or condescending. And because of that, I said, "Thank you." I could tell that he got me right away just from the little 2 or 3 minute exchange we had in getting my medical history. So I think it comes from the person, how they say it, and the person, how they feel about themselves, the person that's disabled, whether they find the word inspirational or inspirational offensive or not. So I think that needs to be thought about by the person that is being called inspirational, and it needs to be thought about by the person that's saying, "Oh, you're so inspirational." Where are they coming from? How they've gotten to know you? What about you is inspirational? And again, just because I'm disabled, like I said, I could be the biggest jerk on the planet. I didn't break my neck, and breaking my neck and giving me a spinal cord injury made me instantly paralyzed. It didn't make me instantly Mother Teresa or some inspiring being from another planet. And as far as the inspiration porn, using disabled people to provoke a strong reaction, in whether it's in the media, whether it's on television, whether it's for any type of business, anything, because that's where I kind of got the feeling these comments were coming from. What is the difference between a gorgeous girl on the television screen in a Toyota commercial as it is a gorgeous model that happens to be able-bodied and has all her limbs on the screen in a Toyota commercial? What are you trying to do? You're trying to get a strong reaction. And if someone is being used, that is, if it's able-bodied or disabled, that's certain a certain situation that's not society in general, or shouldn't. What I should say is it shouldn't be allowed to be society in general thinking, "Oh, this is inspiration porn," simply because the girl is missing her 2 legs. So a lot to think about, a lot to talk about. Again, I will be back with these same issues. I would love to hear what people think. You can go to my website, whatsyourwheelchair.com, and send me comments of any type. I welcome all comments, whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether you think I'm inspirational, whether you think I'm a jerk. It's all welcome. So have a fantastic evening, and I will talk to you again really soon. Good night.